Hello humans, welcome to The Frontline, a leadership and business podcast brought to you by Peregrine Corporate Services, an Isle of Man based fiduciary provider. My name is Martin Hall and thanks for listening. Today we're joined by Basil, Chairman of the Manx Solidarity Fund and Director of Browne Craine. Thanks for joining us today, Basil.
Thanks, Martin. Thanks for having me today. Yeah.
No, pleasure. As we always start off, it's always good, I think, to get to know the person and their background a little bit. Obviously, you're South African, so perhaps a bit of background to your background and how you came to be in the Isle of Man.
I grew up in Pretoria in South Africa, where I went to school. I spent a lot of time playing sport while I was young, and then after school I did my 2 years national service, and then went to Stellenbosch University. After university, I qualified to be a chartered accountant, and I did my training at Ernst & Young. I worked in industry for a few years after I left Ernst & Young. And then I got an opportunity in 1997 to come to the Isle of Man. I went straight to Browne Craine, where I joined Maurice Singer and David Crane. And after a year, they offered me a partnership in the firm. And so I've been with them for over 23 years now.
Yeah. How did that opportunity come about?
David Crane had been out to South Africa on one of the first ever road trips down to South Africa. I think he went down in 1986. And my father-in-law met him during that trip. And then we came over with my wife's aunt, who's partially blind, to the Isle of Man. She had friends here. And I went to see David, and we corresponded for a long time. I think that was in about 1991. And I used to get the Manx Independence, the Examiner sent out to me in South Africa.
Right.
It used to come out by boat, and I used to get about 4 copies of it at a time. So it was quite interesting. So I always had this affinity with the Isle of Man.
I take it you fell in love ultimately with the island.
Yeah, we've loved staying here. It's been so good to us. Yeah.
Your wife, and I presume you came over with the children as well. They were young when you arrived on the island.
Yeah, my daughter was 4 and my son was 2. So they started schooling. They started their lives here. Oh. I think they both see themselves as
Manxies.
Manxies. They are come-overs, but they, they do see that, and they both swam on the Isle of Man, and they represented the Isle of Man at Island Games and at Commonwealth Games. So
So I know you're heavily involved at the moment. You're chairman of the Commonwealth Games Association. I guess that involvement just goes back to getting involved from when your kids were younger.
Yeah, I think you take your kids to sport, and they see, they find out that you're an accountant, and every sports club needs a treasurer, so they get you onto a committee, and things sort of snowball from there. So I've done a lot of committee work, especially in the swimming side. I've been chairman of the Isle of Man Swimming Club, and then through that I got introduced to the Commonwealth Games Association, and I've been on that for about the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, right. Okay. So on chairmanship, and one of the reasons we wanted to chat today was the Manx Solidarity Fund. So perhaps provide for our listeners and viewers a little bit of background to how you first got involved with it. Obviously, it's fairly new, but a lot's been happening over the last month.
I think it started where a group of business guys got together, and they identified that when the COVID-19 pandemic sort of started gathering momentum, they realized that the Isle of Man was going to be affected by that, and how could we as business help? And through their efforts, they got a group of us together, and they asked me to form the trust and the charity and get that set up. So we identified a number of trustees who would like to come. We approached a trust lawyer, John Rimmer. He got the document the trust deed drafted within a day. We went to the Attorney General's office, and they had the trust registered, I think, within a day and a half. We then set up a specific company to be a trustee company, which would give the trustees protection. We organized directors and officers insurance for them, and we got a bank account set up. So that all happened within 10 days towards the end of March. And I think we had our first trustees meeting on the 30th of March, and we launched the fund. And since then, it's been going very well. There's been a lot of work going on behind the scenes. We have regular trustees meetings. Yeah.
And your involvement, you obviously talked earlier there about being involved in various things on the Isle of Man. Again, was this just something you felt passionate about getting involved and helping with?
The Isle of Man has given myself and my family a lot of opportunities, and I think in the Manx community, just generally, they are very open and get involved with and help each other. And I just saw, it's something that I like giving back, to the community, and so getting involved in things and helping other people and creating opportunities for other people is sort of something that I'm quite passionate about. Yeah. And there are a lot of people that aren't as lucky as we are. And if you can just make a difference in a few people's lives, it's a good thing to do.
And the objectives of the fund, where do they sit?
I think the objectives are to support those people. The Isle of Man government moved very quickly and set up schemes and are helping a lot of businesses and individuals who have been negatively affected by this, by the circumstances that we're in. So the trust is, and the charities, to sit between what government is doing and pick up those people who don't fall into any of those schemes. So it can be an individual, it could be a business, or it could be a charity that's helping people and whose funding is dried up.
Right, okay. And to get more information now, they've got a website, manxsolidarityfund.com. I guess there's a lot of information on there. Applying for grants, as much as donating is important, I guess applying is just as important, and awareness.
Yeah, I think we divided it into two sort of sections. Obviously, the fund needed to generate donations. So we've got a team that has gone out and approached a number of businesses. There's also, we've got a Just Giving page where people can go on. It's simple to donate. Individuals, businesses prefer to donate directly into our bank account. So we'll send the bank account details to them. And then we've also had another payment processor on the island, Much Better, and they've opened an account for us so that any of their members or people with accounts with them can donate directly to us.
Okay.
So that's the sort of funding side. We've also had a number of people approach us and say they prefer, rather than just giving us funds, they prefer to donate to specific causes or specific services or equipment that is needed. So we've got, although we've almost got $250,000 in the fund at the moment, we do have opportunities to approach people to get needed equipment quite quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've got funding for that. So that's the funding side. And then on the other side, we initially had a paper-based system where people could apply to us. And we've luckily we approached a marketing company, and they, Fundi is the name of the company. They built an online application form for us within 2 days. And if you go onto our website, there's a simple form for people to fill out. they can apply, and we've got a online system that makes the processing of all of this a lot easier.
Yeah. Okay. On the payment side, have you got to that position now, paying out?
Yeah, we've got a process where we've reviewed all the applications, and last week we started making the payments. Have gone out to people. Unfortunately, there were a few people who applied and didn't fit into the criteria of the charity, and we've had to decline those. But most of the ones that we've done have now been paid out. We've got a meeting this week where we'll carry on processing as the applications come in, and we've got a good system, so hopefully we'll be able to process quickly. And
is there an ability, if you don't meet the criteria, to look at it again? Because I guess the situation for everyone, the situation continues to change probably on a daily basis.
Yeah, I think people can apply again. There's no restrictions. We've tried to keep things as broad as possible, and not restrict ourselves to any specific. You're only allowed to apply once. You can apply as many as you like.
And limits again. It's present how the epidemics affected you, and sort of try and monetize that and present that to the trustees ultimately to show that impact.
I think the basic criteria is that if you've been affected by it, just ask, apply, and we can work out a way of how much we believe that is required. The one thing from a business point of view, the fund won't sort of provide working capital for the business. But if your employees are suffering and you might have to lay off staff, but once we get through this, your business, you've got a viable business, we'd rather help you keep those staff members on, and then business will come through and when this is over.
Yeah. So we're on the 5th of May today. I guess, we're starting to see the slight relaxation of rules generally, and we'd like to think as an Ireland that will continue over the coming weeks. But I guess the help from the fund it's not a month-long project. I suspect this will go on for a little while.
I think this is going to be felt for a number of months, if not years to come. And the fund will be around and help people for a long time. We're taking this slowly, and we don't want to just give everything out straight away, and we're not desperate to give things out, but we will help those who are desperate and need the help. Yeah,
it's a fine balance, isn't it? It's just to get the balance right. And in regard to awareness of the fund itself, you see it around on social media. Is there initiatives going on to continue to raise the profile? Because although we're a small community, it can be easily it's easy not to.
At the moment, I know of 3 initiatives. Obviously, everybody's seen what Christian Barley is doing and running his 19 marathons in 19 days, which is a fantastic effort. And he has generated through his Just Giving page a lot of funds for the Solidarity Fund. We've got another initiative that's on Instagram is 3 in 3. Is an initiative where you do 3 of anything. You run 3 miles, you make the 3 legs of man in some shape, or go on 3 walks and donate £3 to the fund. And then there's an initiative that was set up by Zurich, is the Coffee Yes Sir one, where you, instead of buying a cup of coffee, you donate £5 into the fund. So there are a lot of initiatives. We're also publicising ourselves as much as we can, and hopefully we'll raise awareness amongst the community that we are there, and we are there to help people.
Yeah. I think part of us obviously chatting today is to try and make more and more people aware that this fund's here to help the island, and to go on the website, have a look at the criteria. And I think you're on all the social media channels as well. As well. I think. Well, thanks for popping in today. I know you're really busy with trying to do all the chairmanship of the fund. It's a great initiative, I guess. It's
I'd also like to thank you guys at Peregrine who've done a lot of the work in the background as well.
No, that's all right. That's fine. No, that's fine. We're happy to help. I think so that what South Africa's loss is our gain. So lucky you came over all those years ago. We'll consider you Manx, a real Manxie. Just need that accent.
I think I'm a leftover. I'm not a come over anymore. I'm just a leftover.
Great. Well, thanks for your time today, Basil. It's been much appreciated. Good to chat to you.
Thanks, Martin. Thanks a
No
lot.
worries.
Cheers. Bye.